Hello and welcome back to Scout Report, where today we're taking a look at 3 January signings who have already had a big impact at their new clubs. Let's get into it. Adama Traore. Adama Traore's return to Barcelona in January raised more than a few eyebrows. He was a player out of form at a mid-table Premier League club who had played all his best football in recent years as a wing-back, a role that simply does not feature in Xavi's project at Barca. But the Blaugrana manager, faced with a contract standoff between the club and Ousmane Dembele, was willing to look beyond this as Barca searched for an adequate replacement on the right-hand side, describing Traore as the perfect winger. And almost 6 weeks on from his loan move to the Camp Nou being announced, it's hard to argue with the club's logic. The 26-year-old, who joined the club at just 8 years of age and made both his La Liga and Champions League debuts for the club at just 17, instantly silenced critics on his return to Catalonia, starring on his debut in a crucial 4-2 victory over top 4 rivals Atletico Madrid. In a dominant first-half display in which Barca went 3-1 up, Traore was a central figure in the side's attacking play, repeatedly creating openings by beating Atleti left-back Mario Hermoso and setting up Xavi with a pinpoint cross, registering his first assist back at the club after just 21 minutes, having failed to set up a teammate in his final 1,500 minutes at Wolves. Of course, the Spaniard played much deeper under Nuno Espirito Santo and Bruno Lage, but it's clear that his productivity is booming in a side where sustained possession in the opposition half is a priority, and he's surrounded by passers and top-drawer attacking talent. And unlike at Wolves, he is no longer burdened with having to do almost all of the side's ball progression from deep. Whereas before he was attempting 8.6 dribbles per 90, this has dropped to 7.7 at Barca, and while he's still completing 4.5 a match, a figure that comfortably beats the likes of Vinicius Jr. and Yannick Carrasco, this is still a big drop from his astronomical average of 7 in the Premier League. While on the face of it this could be seen as a negative, it's actually not. Traore's work is now primarily in the final third, rather than in deeper areas where it's often easier to beat players. Considering this, the fact he's now making more progressive carries than he was at Wolves is somewhat surprising. However, while the metric is usually used to illustrate how often a player carries the ball upfield, it also includes the amount of times they carry it into the penalty area. Traore is doing this with far more frequency than he was at Molineux. As a result, he's getting himself into much better areas to lay on chances. Whereas his end product was often the subject of derision in his final year in England, the fact he is picking up better positions to cross and has superior options to pick out has made this a problem of the past. He's now completing 2.1 crosses per 90, up from just 0.6 at Wolves, while his 0.21 expected assists per 90 is his highest average since 2019-20, when he ended the season with an impressive 9 assists. He already has 4 to his name at the Camp Nou, including 2 against Napoli in the Europa League. Barca's transformation from top 4 hopefuls to top 4 favourites is not just down to Traore, of course. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Ferran Torres have also impressed since signing, while the side as a whole have improved under Xavi. But having hit the ground running, the former Middlesbrough man has brought much needed balance to the Blaugrana attack. In games in which he has featured, they've scored 3.2 goals on average, compared with a rate of 1.5 goals a game before his arrival. Club president Joan Laporta recently warned that Barca may not have the financial capabilities to make his move permanent, which would require a £29.1 million fee. But if he can help them secure their place in next season's Champions League, then the loan by itself would have been incredibly worthwhile. Giovani Lo Celso. Another player who has rediscovered his form since returning to Spain from the Premier League on loan, Giovani Lo Celso had become somewhat of a scapegoat for the problems facing Tottenham before completing his temporary switch to Villarreal. But since coming back to La Liga, where he spent a happy year at Real Betis in 2018-19, the Argentine international has impressed once again. He's made just 5 league appearances at the time of recording, and despite being deployed as a second striker by manager Unai Emery, is yet to register a goal or an assist. But though he's been at the club just over a month, Lo Celso has already racked up more league minutes than he managed at Spurs between August and January, quickly becoming an integral part of Emery's side. A hard worker, Lo Celso defends from the front in what is one of the most aggressive pressing teams in Spain, with Boulaye Dia the only teammate to attempt more pressures than him in the final third, while he ranks 3rd in the squad for total pressures per 90. And he's also become much tidier in possession, losing the ball just 1.2 times a match, down from 3.9 in his final months at Spurs. He has been all action as typified by his performance in his first start against Real Madrid, in which he completed 3 tackles, created 3 chances, and fired off 2 shots in a 0-0 draw. On average, he's creating 2 chances per 90, which is actually a career high, and while none of his final balls have resulted in a goal as yet, his very presence in the attack has helped boost the productivity of both Danjuma and Pino, who have both hit hat-tricks in recent weeks. With the solid foundation of Etienne Capoue and Dani Parejo behind him, Lo Celso seemingly has more freedom than he did at Spurs, where the midfield has been an issue for some time now. He may not have been a transformative signing at surface level, but the 25-year-old's quality is there for all to see. If Villarreal make his move permanent in the summer, their hopes of becoming a more regular fixture in the Champions League will take a big boost. Dan Burn. But the January signing who has arguably had the biggest impact is Newcastle defender Dan Burn. Signed from Brighton for £13 million, the English centre-back entered a side that was conceding 2 goals a game, which ranked bottom of the Premier League for expected goals against, and sat in 19th. But in the 4 games Burn has featured in, the Magpies have kept 2 clean sheets, as many as they had managed in the previous 24 fixtures, and have won 3, all matching the number of victories they'd recorded prior to his first appearance. In that time, they've ranked 3rd in the league for goals conceded and 5th for expected goals against. It is of course a tiny sample size, but an indication of how far this Newcastle defence has come in a relatively short time. Burn's impact on the side is all the more impressive given Kieran Trippier has been injured for all but one of the games he's featured in, and he's quickly built a strong relationship with Fabian Schär, who has also enjoyed an uptick in form over the last 2 months. The 6'7" defender has unsurprisingly been dominant in the air, winning 3.8 aerial duels, up from 2.5 at Brighton, while his aerial success rate has also risen from 61% to 72%, and has already become a vocal leader on the pitch for his boyhood club. And while he's defending less aggressively than at Brighton, attempting just 1.3 tackles per game, down from 2.4, something to be expected in a more conservative Magpies side, he is winning the ball more efficiently, while Trippier is the only teammate to better his 1.8 interceptions. With Eddie Howe's side now 7 points clear of the relegation zone, the Toon Army can now look to the end of the season with a lot more confidence. If safety is achieved as is now expected, then the club will no doubt be in the market for a number of lucrative upgrades in the summer as they look to progress again next term. However, a relatively inexpensive pickup like Burn may have already played a big role in the future of the historic club. So that was 3 signings that have transformed your club, but do you agree with our choices? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, why not check out our other content? Recent videos include 10 clubs overachieving this season, where we look at the likes of Southampton and Luton. In our most recent Explained series, we delved into the German top flight and explored whether the Bundesliga tax is in fact real. And why not check out our latest episode of the Football Pyramid 2, as you can't beat a football quiz. This Scout report was researched and written by Michael McCubbin and narrated and edited by myself, Danny Pape. Like and subscribe for more great content, and we'll see you next time.